Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez spends an awful lot of time on social media, but somehow she finds extra time in between taking pictures of herself drinking chai latte or whatever to think up new things to do to America. Recently, she's proposed legislation to expand welfare benefits and provide them to everyone. That would include all illegal immigrants without any kind of restriction. Now, that's a pretty far-out idea, but it has at least one very powerful supporter, Democratic presidential frontrunner Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts. She tweeted that the plan, and I'm quoting, was a big structural change, that's a compliment on the left, that would fix America's problems. Warren has already promised to decriminalize illegal border crossings. In other words, she is now pledging to let anyone on earth come to America who wants to and immediately go on welfare, no questions asked, and by the way, get free health care. Lana Goodman is an investigative reporter at the Washington Examiner, and an excellent reporter, we should say. She joins us tonight with this. So, Lana, am I misstating any of this?
Nope, that's exactly what it does. So it's not just welfare for illegal immigrants, it's also a whole host of other policies that are on these progressive wish lists. So another one of them is rent control, nationalized rent control.
Nationalized rent control.
Nationalized rent control. So
it would apply to everybody, every town.
That would apply to everywhere in the country. Exactly.
So that's not something that's been, I mean, we could do a whole show on this, but that's always been a local question. So San Francisco has it, New York has it.
And it's caused a lot of problems in San Francisco.
A lot of problems.
This is something that actually is one issue that almost all economists agree on, which is that rent control is a problem because many of them believe that it actually leads to higher rent prices by driving down the amount of housing that's available. So that is something that could become a policy issue for Elizabeth Warren.
So places with rent control tend to have very high homeless populations.
Yes, so that exactly. So there's not a lot of places for people to live because
well, that's a good idea.
The amount of housing that's available. But another issue here, I think, for Warren from a policy perspective, if she does get to the general election, is this welfare for illegal immigrants. So there was a poll, a CNN poll in July that found that 59% of Americans oppose free public health care for illegal immigrants. And that is something that's included in this AOC bill, along with other social welfare benefits for illegal immigrants, including unemployment benefits and also food stamps. So I think that that is something that could become a problem if she has to defend this to the public during the general election.
So has any credible person done an estimate of what would happen if you said to the rest of the world, we're not going to enforce our borders, you're welcome to come here, we won't make you leave, and once you get here, you get free health care, free tuition, housing vouchers, food stamps.
Exactly, and that's something that even Bernie Sanders, who people might say is slightly to the left of Elizabeth Warren, doesn't support, because he says if you support social welfare for everybody, which he does, you have to secure the border. You can't have one or the other because we just wouldn't be able to pay for it. So that actually differentiates him on this issue from Elizabeth Warren.
And as he said correctly, by the way, I don't often agree with Bernie Sanders, but he said that's a Koch brothers thing. That's a corporate libertarian idea to lower the value of labor. So
to keep the borders open.
Exactly, to keep the borders open. And he's absolutely right, but Elizabeth Warren's on that side.
Yeah, and I think another part of this, too, is this shows that AOC has really become the main power broker in the Democratic Party at this point. There was a recent poll that found that 25% of Democratic voters said that they highly value AOC's opinion when it comes to deciding who they will support in 2020. That is above Hillary Clinton. That's above Nancy Pelosi. That's above every other Democrat every other Democratic figure on the national stage, other than former presidents Obama, Clinton, and Carter.
The amazing thing is she's got a lot of pluck and vim and moxie, and I appreciate all that, but she's a moron. So she's not somebody who you'd want making decisions for you. Lana Goodman, great to see you. I hope you'll come back.
Thank you.
Well, you can tell a lot about a politician.